Steffi,
Yeah.
you seem to be so restless. What happened?
This letter is so difficult. Tomorrow is my exam. I feel totally blank, I don't know how to write this.
Relax, it's just an exam.
Like Steffi, the day before the OET exam can be nerve-wracking for many of the candidates. Sometimes we even wish to go back to day one of preparation and do everything perfectly without procrastinating anything. A lot of thoughts will be preoccupying in your mind, right? Relax. It's just an exam and you can do well with the right attitude and approach. In this video, we are going to see how you can prepare yourself the day before the exam. Hi everyone, I'm Richard Caroline, an expert OET trainer from IILT. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 things you can do during the previous day of your exam. So without much delay, let's get started with the video. The first thing you have to do is go through the criteria and techniques of each module one last time on the day before exam. Make sure that you're thorough with the criteria and techniques for each module so that you can perform and give your best by meeting the expectations of the exam itself. So make sure that you know it very clearly. Also, while you go through the criteria, make sure that you know your strong and your weak points. Worry less about your weak points because overnight you cannot make any changes, right? So worry less about your weak areas and focus more on your strong areas. If you know that you're really good at some particular areas, that is actually a criterion for that particular module, give your best there and try to get a lot of score in your strong areas. So make sure that you know the criteria as well as the techniques for each module before you leave for the exam. The second thing you have to do is go through your feedback form. So from the day one of your preparation, you might have got a correction form, right? Maybe you might have tutoring under someone or might have done self-study. In either cases, you might know your feedback. So go through your feedback forms and see the commonly made mistake by you. Be it reading or writing or listening or speaking, know which is the area that you commonly make a mistake at. Once you know the commonly repeated mistake made by you can come up with some ways. That is totally depending upon you. You can come up with your own techniques to avoid that mistake the next day. That is the day of your exam. So you should know which area you always make a mistake at. So make sure that you are very clear about that so that you can avoid that mistake and get a better score. The third thing, prepare your exam kit. Don't wait for the exam day to do that because in that hurry-burry, you might miss out some important documents or some other stationery that you are supposed to bring it to the exam. So prepare it on the previous day. Make sure you pack your valid ID, your hall ticket, the required stationeries like the non-mechanic pens, pencils, erasers, sharpeners, and the things that you need. So do not wait for the test day to do that because in that hurry-burry, as I mentioned earlier, you might miss out some things. And once you reach the venue, you will have a lot of tension, right? So to avoid that, prepare yourself on the previous day. The fourth thing, try not to do any practice session on the previous day. For some of you, it might be okay to do any practice sessions before the exam date, but for some, it might cause a lot of trouble. Imagine that you are doing some practice session on the previous day of the exam and unfortunately you couldn't get a good score. That is going to affect your confidence. If you can't perform well on the practice sessions on the previous day of the exam, it will affect your confidence. As I said, you will start to think whether it will happen for you on the exam date as well. So you are bringing your confidence level down. So never do that. But for some people, it is okay. So for people who are comfortable enough to do practice sessions, go for that. But for others who lack confidence or who keep on thinking like you can't do it, it's better not to do any practice sessions. Rather, be relaxed. The fifth thing, it is a main thing you have to consider. Talk less, sleep more. It's quite common, right? Before we go for the exam, we call our friends or the people who have written the exam before, our family members, and we'll say, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do for the exam. I don't think that I can crack this time. Will I be able to write and finish everything on time? Will I be able to speak properly on time? So you'll have a lot of questions and you talk with each other and you spread this negativity for yourself. Stop doing that. On the previous day of exam, be yourself. You can do things that you like to do. Maybe spend time with your family. If you like cooking, do that. Listen to music or even watch movies. I get a lot of students calling me on the previous day of the exam telling me that I'm so worried and I don't know what I'm going to do for the exam next day. I tell them go watch a movie or do something or eat food and sleep properly because you need a lot of energy for the next day because your brain needs to work, right? And for that you have to stay healthy and get a sound sleep on the previous day of the exam. Therefore, try to get a good sleep and talk less. So these are the 5 things you have to keep in your mind and try doing before the day of the exam. Most importantly, tell yourself that you have the potential to do this. Anyhow, you have come this far, right? A number of struggles and a number of practices. So definitely your hard work will pay off. So believe in yourself and the rest will follow. Good luck.
IILT, it's my cup of tea.